Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Virtual Graphic Novel Club. My name is Erica,
My name's Roland.
and today we are going to be jumping into DC's Young Justice. But instead of doing it like we usually do, and we give you like the team and the enemies and all that, we're going to actually compare DC Young Justice comic to the TV show that is now currently on HBO Max. So we're going to jump right on in. Okay. The origins of this team of Young Justice was a product of the original teenage heroes, the Teen Titans, growing up and becoming Titans. Their first appearance was Young Justice, The Secret, #1 in June of 1998, and it was created by Todd DeZago and, oh, there's my dog, and the artists Todd Nancock and Larry Stuckler. This new trio of heroes was Superboy, Robin, and Impulse. Those are the three right there. In their first issue, they encounter the mysterious superhero in Secret and free her from captivity from the DEO, which is the Department of Extra Normal Operations. They next appeared together in Justice League miniseries World Without Grown-Ups. In this series, they encounter a magical child villain called Bedlam, who moves all adults to an alternate world. After managing to thwart Bedlam's adolescent paradise, the three boys agree that they are an effective team, and as a team, they should officially band together as their own group. This issue also gives the team their first headquarters, which is the old abandoned Justice League headquarters in Happy Harbor, Rhode Island. And this headquarters is also home to the android and former hero of the Justice Society of America, Red Tornado. Red Tornado will remain as an acting mentor and chaperone to the founding team, feeling that his interactions with the boisterous teens would help him salvage what little he felt left for humanity. The four would later be joined by three teen superheroines, which was Wonder Girl. This is Cassandra Sandsmark, struggling to make her mark as a serious crime fighter. And then you have Secret, who is ethereal and mysterious. We'll get into her. And we have one more member who is Arrowette. Her name is Sissy King Jones, who's attempting to humiliate her estranged and domineering mother as the retired Arrowette, trying to outshine her mother, basically. You also have their first villains. That is the Defeat the Team face. And I can't say this with a straight face because they are some of the most prepubescent names in that I've come across in comics. You have their first villain that they encountered as a team was the Mighty Endowed, who was an archaeologist named Nina Dowd, and her name is Anne Dowd, who was transformed into a top-heavy feline figure, too well endowed to support her own weight, to the deadly, and you also have the Deadly Harm, who was an aspiring supervillain bent on battling and killing young metahumans for practice. This is later revealed to be Secret's adopted brother in her previous life, who was responsible for her death and subsequent transfiguration. Young Justice also discovered and adopts the Supercycle, a sentient vehicle capable of flight from New Genesis, which they come to rely on in their primary means of transportation. They also persistently badgered by another supervillain group. It's called APES, which stands for the All-Purpose Enforcement Squad. Agents Donald Fight and a Shadow Mad, loosely coined Fight and Mad. They are considered naming they also considered naming these two guys Nuck and Fuds. But that had been overruled by DC editors who didn't want a combination of Nuck and Buzz. Okay. I mean, these writers, they really took a lot of liberties. When it, like I said, lots of prepubescent names, and they knew who their audience was, which was preteens. And these guys were acting on the behalf of the DEO. Now, we're familiar, some of us are familiar with the DEO as far as with the Arrowverse and how the DEO is in Supergirl, Department of, what is it? The Department of
Extra normal operations.
This department, DEO in the comics, they go on, they're both sides. They're not good. They're not really good. They're more bad, but they have the ability to act in good favor to some of the superheroes from time to time. They were still seeking to recapture Secret because she had escaped from there with the help of the three guys. On behalf of Secret, the team also takes it upon themselves to break out dozens of other adolescent metahumans that are being detained against their will. Secret would later become a team member, followed by Cassandra Cassie Sandmark. This Young Justice team would end after the death of Donna Troy. She dies, and both Young Justice and Titans disband after her death. Now, the TV series Young Justice is not a direct play on the comic series. The TV series is an original story set in DC universes that focuses on teenage and young adult superheroes. The team consists of sidekicks such as Robin. Now, I tell you, Robin, who is Dick Grayson, Kid Flash, which is Wally West, Aqualad, which is, how do you pronounce his name again, Roland?
Calderon.
Calderon, and you have Superboy, who is Connor Kent, Red Arrow. Red Arrow was an original member of Young Justice, but now he doesn't stick around in the TV show. He actually leaves in the first episode, and that's Roy Harper. You have Miss Martian, who's Megan Morse, and Artemis, who are members of the fictional Covert operational team. Batman actually set this team up to do covert operations that the Justice League could not handle. So they did a lot of spying for the original members of the Justice League because they were their sidekicks. Now, I feel like the only person who had a problem with this at the time was Superman, who did not agree, but everyone else was kind of like, with the right training, and one of their other trainers was Black Canary. So Red Tornado and Black Canary kind of like den mom and dad for them. But this group also was not a part of Prime Earth or New Earth. Later on, when we're talking about some of these teams, and in my notes, you'll see some of it is Prime Earth, which is after Flashpoint, and some of it is New Earth, which was after Crisis on Infinite Earths. So, but we're talking about the same team. But this Earth on the TV show is actually Earth 16. The series began on Cartoon Network in November of 2010. It had 2 seasons on Cartoon Network before being canceled. It was announced that it would be picked up by Netflix in 2015, but that was scrapped due to Warner Brothers creating its own streaming service DC Universe in 2016. The 3rd season appeared in January of 2019 on DC Universe. It was moved recently to HBO Max after for its 4th season, which was October 2021, because DC Universe was canceled by Warner Brothers. And so that is the sort of beginnings and history of the Young Justice.
All right. So next, we're going to hit on the current characters that go for on TV, the ones that you'll see if you watch the current series on HBO Max. Now, first up, we have Nightwing, whose real name was Richard Dick Grayson, and basically he was the first Robin actually for Batman. Now, being the former protege of Batman, you know, he finally got tired of being under Batman's tutelage. And when he was on his way out to being his own, he fooled around and started this team. And what it was, and for the TV show, he basically assumed the leadership role for this covert team while Aqualad was in deep cover. Now, after the death of Wally West, Aqualad stepped up and Nightwing stepped back down. But after working solo, going back to Bloodhaven and everything, he became the leader of a new team of young heroes, basically grooming them to join Young Justice. And so that's, Nightwing story is a little deeper than that, but because we're going to be talking about another Robin, I'm going to cut his short. But he is the original Robin who came to be Nightwing. All right.
All right. Next on our list is Superboy. He is a xenomorph, or as we like to call it, clone of Superman and Lex Luthor. Lex got a little idea in his head that he can create a clone of Superman using some blood that he obtained, probably not on the up and up. And with that little bit of blood, he mixed it with his blood because, of course, he thinks he's the perfect specimen, and to create his own Superman, because he wanted to have complete control over a Superman. Connor is a founding member of Young Justice on the TV show. He does not have a relationship with Superman on the TV show. They actually don't get along because Connor feels like he's his own person. Superboy also revealed himself to the world, and he left the team in order to become a member of the Outsiders and would go on to inspire the future Legion of Superheroes. And that is Superboy.
All right, and next we have Aqualad, aka Kyle Durham. Now, Aqualad has kind of a weird history. For the TV show, he's one character, but then he's also there's another one. So let me read this to you real quick. Calderon was developed specifically for Young Justice, rather than using the existing Aqualad known as Garth. There were several reasons for this. In the comics, Garth had stopped using the name Aqualad and started going by the name Tempest for one. Furthermore, Garth had been killed off during the event Blackest Night, so the character was not current at the time of development. A new character also provided an opportunity to add more diversity to the cast. Calderon was therefore created inspired by characters such as Cal Durham, as well as the DC series Arian, in which it was revealed that not all Atlanteans were Caucasian. During the production of the series, Jeff Johns saw the designs for Calderon and decided to transfer the character into the mainstream DC universe as the new Aqualad, replacing Garth. John's Aqualad has a slightly different background to Kyle Durham. Rather than being raised in Atlantis, he was raised as a human in New Mexico, and he goes by the name Jackson Hyde rather than Kyle Durham. He lacks Calder's obvious Atlantean physical traits, but retains Calder's eel tattoos and powers. Now, in the TV series, the tattoos are given to Calderon by the Conservatory of Sorcery in Atlantis. In the comics, Jackson Hyde is actually born with them. Jackson Hyde first appeared in Brightest Day #4, which preceded the pilot movie of Young Justice by 5 months. Jackson became an important character in the Brightest Day series, and promotional art revealed that he was intended to become a member of the Teen Titans. And so that's the history behind Aqualad. Next up, we have Miss Martian.
Sorry, I muted myself. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Miss Martian is also known as Megan Morse, who was born 48 years ago on the planet Mars. Her mother is a green Martian, and she's the sister of John Johns, which is John Johns is what's his name? Martian. Yeah. He's Martian Manhunter, right? Yeah. Martian Manhunter.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, her mother is green and her father is a white Martian. She grew up watching Earth television and following Martian Manhunter's adventures on Earth. She was especially fond of Hello, Megan, a comedy show that lasted only one season. She was drawn to the main character, Megan Wheeler, because of the similarities of their names and because of all of her problems were solved in exactly 22 minutes. And this is sort of a running joke in the show because when she meets her teammates and these Earth people, she thinks that like it's like TV. In June of 2010, she ran away from home without saying goodbye and stowed away on Martian Manhunter's ship on one of his trips from Mars to Earth. He had never met her before, but after contacting her parents and receiving their permission to let her stay on Earth, he made her his protege. And that is Miss Martian, who is voiced by, the girl from Wonder Years, Danica, I forget her last name, but she's voiced by her from Wonder Years.
All right, next up we have Tigress. Now, Artemis Croc was originally known under the name Artemis and later Tigress. She is a master archer as she is the former protege of the Green Arrow. She is the daughter of Lawrence and Paula Croc and the youngest sister of Jade Nguyen. Artemis left the hero's life behind with her boyfriend Wally West, but returned for an undercover mission with Young Justice. After staging her death, she joined Aqualad as his trusted Lieutenant Tigress. She retained that name when she returned to the team after Wally's death. She is actually the team's current leader in the TV series.
Yes, she's one of my favorites on the TV show.
Yeah.
And next on our list is Zatanna. Zatanna is the daughter of Zatar, and who was a skilled magician, and he also taught his daughter his same skills. She was on here for season 1 and 2, but then she leaves the team to join Justice League, and she kind of floats in and out, but she's kind of there to also bring that magic, because she's a member of Dark Justice now, but she's anything they run into sort of magical, she can help them with. So she kind of floats in and out as
She's a master of mystic arts.
Yeah, and her father is on Earth 16 is actually one of the hosts of Dr. Fate. So that is Zatanna.
Okay, and next we have Raquel Irvin, who goes by the name of Rocket. Now, Rocket is one of those crossover characters that came from Milestone Comics, originally from the, what was it, Icon?
Yes.
It wasn't, it was Icon and Rocket.
Icon
Okay.
and Rocket.
So basically her powers are that she can produce she has kinetic energy manipulation. She usually uses this to create a shield. And just like Zatanna, she actually leaves the team and joins the Justice League between the season 1 finale and the season 2 premiere. Now, she only joined she only joined Young Justice in the beginning because Icon was granted entry into the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
And so since she was kind of his sidekick, that kind of left her on the side with nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. So she ended up joining Young Justice. Yeah, and she is another character that's back and forth.
Yeah, because I think she's back in season 4, which is
if I recall correctly, I did see her. Yeah.
So that is the television version of current characters, the beginning characters, and some of the current characters in the Young Justice television show. Like the Titans and the Justice League, they also have a revolving cast of characters that are always coming and going. It's a great show too. I need to catch up, but I've enjoyed what I've seen. I think I've seen up to season 3. Excuse me. Now onto the comics of Young Justice. Like I said, it's a mixture between New Earth, which was post-crisis, to Flashpoint for DC. after Flashpoint, everything after that is called Prime Earth. And that is after like New 52 and everything. So, and New 52, after the current version of it, is everything 2011 to now is Young Justice. But first on our list is Tim Drake, who is AKA Robin. He is the third Robin after the death of Jason Todd. He first appeared in Batman number 436 in August of 1989. After he matured into adulthood, he became Red Robin. He was first introduced to Batman when he was a child. He attended Haley Circus, and he actually met the Flying Graysons before their death. He also figured out who Batman and Robin were, which was Dick Grayson at that time. He figured out their secret identity as a child, but did not tell anyone. So he's a really good detective, to say the least. He became Batman's third Robin after the death of Jason Todd. He was concerned about Batman after he lost Todd, and he looked after the vigilante, but like from afar. He was kind of like spying on him, following him around Gotham. He was concerned. He was worried about Batman's change in personality. As they like to say, he wasn't letting up on his punches a lot. He was becoming extremely violent. And he tried to convince Dick to reunite with Batman as Robin. But while impressed by Tim, he refused because he refused to come. This was at a time when Dick was trying to find himself. And he had left for Bellhaven. Later, when Batman and Nightwing were in a dire situation against Two-Face, Tim was vital help. Bruce then agreed to train him as the new Robin. Tim was part of the Batman Bat team, and he had a eventual run-in with his future self that kind of set him on a course to joining Young Justice, or founding Young Justice. His future self told him that Batwoman, which was Catherine Kane, would kill Bruce, and that Tim needed to stop her. This led to Stephanie Brown and the rest of the Bat family finding the truth, and it was revealed that future Bruce was dying of radiation poisoning, and he decided to pretty much blow up everything that was related to Batman. That included the Batcave and the cowl, to eliminate Batman altogether. Kate continued to operate as Batwoman in this future timeline, which made Tim think that she killed Batman to then take over being Batwoman in Gotham. But that was not the truth. Bruce was dying anyway, and he basically killed himself to not suffer anymore. And Catherine took over as Batwoman. Once Tim found the truth came out, Tim decided to leave Gotham with Stephanie. As he was leaving with Stephanie, and of course Zatanna came along too, he wanted to ensure that there was nothing left affecting his mind due to his meeting his future self. So he had Zatanna scan his memories, and it was revealed he had some time with Young Justice. He doesn't know why these memories were hidden, and he doesn't understand why he has a whole forgotten life with his best friends, Bart and Connor. So Tim decides to travel to Metropolis and arranges to meet with Stephanie in 2 days' time. Once in Metropolis, he has a sudden extra-dimensional invasion, and the heroes of the area, and Bart is there. Bart shows up, and he claims that Young Justice is back. And so while fighting alongside Tim and Wonder Girl, Red Robin sort of is kind of shaken up to find out that he has a whole life that he does not remember. But he doesn't remember it because it was actually post-crisis Tim Drake that experienced it. So that is Tim Drake.
All right. Next up, we have Superboy, aka Connor Kent. His first appearance was in The Adventures of Superman number 500, June 1993. Superboy, also known as Con-El and Connor Kent, was a DNA alien designed to replace Superman after the hero's death and touted as Superman's direct clone. Superboy was created by Project Cadmus using Kryptonian DNA intended as a replacement for Superman who died fighting Doomsday. Artificially aged to his mid-teens and implanted with the equivalent of a high school education, Superboy was set free by the Newsboy Legion before he could be implanted with safeguards to control him. The clone's arrival in Metropolis coincided with three others taking up the mantle of Superman, two of them, the Man of Tomorrow, Cyborg Superman, and the last son of Krypton, the Eradicator, insisted they were the real Superman resurrected, while the Man of Steel, John Henry Irons, made no such claim, nor did the young clone who was open about his origin to Lois Lane, though he insisted on being called Superman, not Superboy. He formed Young Justice with Tim Drake and Bart Allen, and they were a successful trio before becoming a team of sidekicks. After fighting in a successful mission and coming into his own, the team is met with tragedy. Connor's girlfriend, Tara Moon, is murdered by an agent of their enemy, the Agenda. This became a turning point for Connor. He became reckless, and in the aftermath of these events, he takes some time for negative public opinion against the young crime fighters to fade. The team reconciles with their friends and mentors in the Justice League and with the government. Superboy temporarily loses his powers but regains his ability to age normally. And this is Superboy.
Yes. And I think he's back to being a member of the Justice, not Justice League. Yeah.
Young Justice.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, the Titans. Teen Titans. All right. Next on our list, we have Impulse, which is AKA Bart Allen. Now, his first appearance in Flash, Volume 2, number 92, is in July of 1994. Appearance of he actually dies in October of 2011 in Flashpoint Kid Flash Lost. He is reintroduced back on Prime Earth in October 2011, also not in October, September of 2017 in Flash Volume 5, number 27. Now, on Young Justice, the show, it is not Bart Allen, but it's Wally West, who is Kid Flash on the television show. This is Bart Allen, the grandson of Barry Allen and Iris West Allen. He is from the future and was trapped in the Speed Force and forgotten about until the force barrier was broken by Barry and Wally West, which allowed Bart to escape. He was born in actually the 30th century into a society that was mostly based in virtual reality. He was bored in his own time and escaped to the 21st century, where he became a costumed speedster, Impulse. He was Wally West's sidekick. Bart lived in Manchester, Alabama. He was sort of raised by Max Mercury. Max supplied Bart with a connection to a birth certificate and all that, so he could make him look like he was a regular kid. Bart began the 9th grade in Manchester Junior High. And he also made a few friends, amongst them one of his classmates, Carol Buckland. Max continued to train. Max was basically Max Mercury at the time. He was also a speedster. He was training Bart, and he gave him the art of super speed, and he was also having him run obstacle course and dodging axes and knives, solving jigsaw puzzles in midair, and ultimately enlisting his battle in his old foe Savitar. But during this time, Bart also served with a brief stint in the New Titans before becoming one of the founding members of Young Justice. After Max became lost in the Speed Force, Bart was taken in by Jay Garrett, who was the first Flash, and his wife, Joanne Garrett. He forms Young Justice around this time, too, with Tim Drake and Connor Kent, or AKA Conell. After the Young Justice team broke up, Bart joined Teen Titans, and he suffered a sidelining injury that basically Deathstroke busted his kneecap. And during his recovery, he read every single book in the San Francisco Public Library and decided to reinvent himself as the Kid Flash. He was kind of known, he called himself Impulse because he was known to be impulsive and really just doing things on the fly, very much a jokester. So he wanted to kind of reinvent himself after he was sidelined by his injury, and he calls himself Kid Flash now. Even with his artificial kneecap, he could still run close to light speed. Bart is the fastest of all the speedsters in the Speed family. He eventually becomes Flash after Wally West disappears into the Speed Force. Bart saw many challenges as a speedster when DC eventually reboots the series in 2011 with Flashpoint Saga. Bart gives his life to save his grandfather, Barry Allen, and Bart is absorbed into the Speed Force and lost. So that is Impulse.
All right. And next up, we have Wonder Girl, aka Cassandra Sandsmark. Her first appearance was Wonder Woman Volume 2, number 105, January 1996. Cassandra Cassie Sandsmark is the daughter of Dr. Helena Sandsmark and the Greek god Zeus. This makes her a demigod like Wonder Woman. She is the second Wonder Girl, Donna Troy being the first. Dr. Sandsmark worked at the Gateway City Museum of Antiquities. Cassie befriended one of her mom's employees who happened to be Wonder Woman. During a battle with a Doomsday clone, Cassie decided to help her mentor and created a costume and used magical requirements, the sandals of Hermes and the gauntlet of Atlas to assist. Cassie later had the opportunity to ask Zeus for a boon and requested real superpowers. Zeus granted her request, but gave Dr. Sandsmark the ability to deactivate them. Hey, Dr. Okay. Dr. Sandsmark, however, reluctantly accepted her daughter's wish to be a superheroine and rarely, if ever, used this ability. Artemis was assigned as her teacher. Cassie had a knack for getting into trouble before her superpowers. She changed schools and locations many times in her youth. When Cassie became a superhero, she hid her identity. She wore a wig to make her look like the original Wonder Girl, Donna. Wonder Girl, Cassie joined Young Justice due to her crush on Superboy. She became close friends with Arrowette, Secret, and Empress. During her time with that group, the Dark God Oblivion caused Wonder Woman's Wonder Dome Palace to destroy Gateway City. Artemis ordered Cassie to help with crowd control instead of wasting time putting on her Wonder Girl disguise. Agreeing with her, Cassie revealed her secret identity before news cameras for the first time in her superhero career. Cassie eventually became the leader of the team after beating Robin during an election for command. Her secret identity was again publicly revealed when the second Silver Swan attacked her at her high school. After a rogue android Superman attacked the Titans and Young Justice teams, Donna Troy was killed in the battle. Cassie was so shaken up that she walked away from being a superhero for a time. Both the Titans and Young Justice break up after this. Now, can you imagine having parental controls on your superhero powers?
I can't, as a parent, I can't imagine controlling my kids' powers
Right.
like that. But I feel like her mom really took a responsible, like she knew how serious it was to Cassie.
Right.
It was pretty much the only thing that sort of kept her out of trouble, which I'm sure her mom was grateful for. But Zeus knew what he was doing.
Right.
Even though she was a demigod to begin with, because that's her daddy, and we all know how he acts. Which technically sort of makes her the sister of Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Because that's her daddy.
Right.
Oh, I gotcha. But she has a lot of adventures. And she's still currently, I think she's a Titan. All right, next on our list, this guy here, Red Tornado. He's a lot. But he originally appeared in Justice League of America, the JLA, in number 64 in 1968. Red Tornado is an android that was created by Professor T.O. Morrow and inhabited by the air element known as Ulthon. Okay. After being defeated twice by the Justice League of America and Adam Strange, the Tornado Champion decided there was little satisfaction in being he started off as a bad guy, basically, and he decided to journey to another Earth, which was Earth 2, to attempt to find a new identity. Tornado Champion came upon the criminal T.O. Morrow while he was there, who was creating an android with which he was trying to infiltrate and defeat the Justice Society of America. When the Tornado Champion learned that the android was called Red Tornado, it could not resist the urge to assume control of the android and become a hero. This was short circuit during a merging of the Tornado and Champion, and the memory was erased. And the Red Tornado android awoke in his new life form, having no memory of wanting to be a hero. Believing itself to be an original JSA associate by the same name of Red Tornado, he visited the JSA headquarters and announced that he is returning to active duty. The JSA did not recognize him and the android, but allowed Tornado to accompany them to prevent theft at a nearby museum. Through a series of mishaps choreographed by Morrow, Red Tornado seemingly kills JSA members. Red Tornado then tracked Morrow down to his lair, seemingly to defeat him. But when the remaining JSAers arrive to investigate, it is booby-trapped and the weapon fell upon them all. Morrow then traveled back to Earth 1, where he defeated the JLA and had the JSA before them. Red Tornado recovered from his injuries and followed Morrow to revive the JLA. The JLA and the android then defeat Morrow and uncovered the method to revive the JSA back on Earth 2. Morrow confessed that the Red Tornado was his android construct, but the JSA still admitted that he was a member based on his good standing and how he saved them. After the crisis, Red Tornado and Champion retained his air elemental status and becomes when I say crisis, I mean post-crisis on Infinite Earths. He becomes the personification of force, and a force of nature, such as Swamp Thing is with the Earth Elemental Force, and Firestorm is with the Fire Elemental. Red Tornado, like Swamp Thing, used his newfound responsibilities to act as a protector and advocate of nature. So he does not react well to 80s, 90s air pollution. It has an adverse effect on Red Tornado, Tornado Champion, and drives him half mad into conflict with Firestorm and into the elemental war. Eventually, Captain Atom and Firestorm calm him. Firestorm manufactures a new body shell for Red Tornado, but during this time, he joins the laymen and experiences major malfunctions. His body malfunctions grew worse, and he's nearly lost all of his humanity. Over time, the original Red Tornado personality begins to reemerge, and slowly his emotions, as well as his humanity. Upon reestablishing his abilities to move properly and communicate, the Red Tornado reestablished his connection with Justice League and in the regular superhero community. When he's awakened again, that is when he serves as an advisor to the Young Justice and an auxiliary. He becomes an auxiliary member to the JLA again. But that's Red Tornado. He built a whole life here on Earth as an android. He kind of reminds me of Vision, you know.
A cross between Vision and the Human Torch.
Yeah, and builds this whole life, and then it's kind of snatched away from him. And he kind of goes back to his android beginnings. So that's Red Tornado.
All right, so next up we have The Ray, aka Ray Terrell. First appearance was The Ray #1, February 1992. Raymond Terrell is the second Ray, the son of the original. He has light powers like his father. Terrell was told he was hypersensitive to light and exposure to sunlight would kill him. Privately tutored in his window-darkened home, Ray's most earnest wish was for normalcy. The media called him Night Boy. His only friend during his formative years was his neighbor, Jennifer Jordan. At 18, by his supposed father's deathbed, Ray learned his life was a lie. He was not allergic to light, nor did he have to live in darkness. Most disturbing of all, he discovered his true father was the 40s wartime superhero, the Golden Age Ray. Following the death of Superman, Ray was recruited into the Justice League of America for roughly a year of service. During this time in the JLA, Ray had a brief romance with Black Canary. Ray was then asked to join the ranks of the Justice League Task Force led by the Martian Manhunter. The JLTF's purpose was to train the next wave of Leaguers, and while mildly successful, the death of a team member led to their downfall. After the unfortunate disbanding of the JLTF to make way for the newly reformed JLA, Ray has kept the Justice League Reserve member status. Ray had also joined another team of heroes, the Forgotten Heroes, led by the Resurrection Man. They were brought together to take down Vandal Savage and his empire. While to Miles' success, the team disbanded and Ray continued a solo hero career. After saving a kid at a concert where the Young Justice were also attending, they invited him to join their team. Ray quickly accepted the offer and soon nominated himself in the elections for team leader, along with Robin, Wonder Girl, and Superboy. Wonder Girl was voted as team leader. At the time, Ray was 18 or nearly 19, much older than his fellow Young Justice members, who were high school sophomores at the most. After the evil turn of their mysterious member Secret and her being depowered by Darkseid, Ray left the team. Soon afterward, he came across the Nowhere Man, deadly figments of a writer's imagination accidentally brought to life. The mission of the Nowhere Men: to wipe out the individuality of the world, starting with superheroes. The beams these villains emit cause a type of suspended animation. Ray is caught along with Elongated Man and a new major victory. After a long battle with Superman, the beings are defeated and Ray and the others are freed. And that is the Ray.
All right. And our last member of the Young Justice comics team is Secret, aka Hazel Greta Hayes. She was murdered. Her first appearance was Young Justice, The Secret #1, which was about her in June of 1998. Greta Hayes was murdered by her brother Billy. We mentioned before, Billy will become known as the supervillain Harm. Because of the manner of her death, Greta remains stuck on the plane of existence. She is a gateway between the living and the dead. She's also someone who guides spirits who just died into the afterlife. And she has an ethereal body with a unique set of powers. On their first mission together in Young Justice, Impulse, Superboy, and Robin's rescue Secret from the DEO. After she escaped the DEO, the guys convinced her to join Young Justice. Once she joined Young Justice, her brother began to attack the team, but this time as Harm. He was killed by his father, but he would return later after escaping from hell. Before her real name was known, Secret was often referred to as Susie. Secret became good friends with the two girls on the team and was often portrayed as shy. For a while, she nursed a crush on Robin and often defended his actions and followed his leadership unquestionably. She also expressed jealousy towards Spoiler, who was Stephanie Brown, which is what was Robin's girlfriend at the time, to the point where the pair of them were once at full battle across Gotham City, only stopped by combined efforts of both Red Tornado and Robin. Due to the nature of her powers, Secret was mentored by Deadman and the Spectre, which was Hal Jordan. She eventually gave in to the darkness of her nature on behest of Darkseid, whom she mistakenly referred to as Dogside. During her time on Apocalypse, Billy, possessing her father, launched the body into one of the fire pits, killing them both. Although Hal Jordan offered to step in and save Greta, as well as the world, the current Young Justice team advisor at the time, Snapper Carr, rejected the offer, preferring that the kids use Secret's turning evil as a learning experience. Snapper was always a jerk.
Right.
He wanted them to learn something from the death of one of their teammates. Robin was eventually able to talk her down by himself, but towards the end of Young Justice, a disgusted Darkseid stripped Greta of her powers and left her an ordinary living girl, which is ironically exactly what she wanted to be. Greta now attends the St. Elias School for Girls, and her classmates are Cassie Sandmarks, Wonder Girl, and Sissy King Jones, the former Arrowette. And that is Greta Hayes.
Yep. And with that, that is Young Justice.
Yes. And these are some of the things that we researched. So if you want to research them yourself, please pause and look at some of those links. We also have Comics Plus, which you could borrow, read thousands of digital comics and graphic novels and mangas from the Clayton County Library System. You do have to have a Clayton County Library card to do this. And if you do have one, there are no holes or waiting lists. You can also get offline access on your tablet, computer, or smartphone. So to get your account today, just go on to claytonpl.org under Learning and Research, and you will see the link for Comics Plus. And goodness gracious, in 2 weeks, around July the 4th, we shall be taking on the honored Captain America. Marvel's Captain America is next on our list. That will be on July 5th at 4 p.m. Same bat time, same bat place. We will not be covering the entire continuation of Captain America, but we will cover his beginnings. So we're going back old school for you guys. A little bit of what you saw in the first Captain America movie. So yes, before
We'll only be covering the original suit.
yes, we'll only not the no. We gotta go into at least the 60s when he's unburied. He's unburied off the ice. You gotta show the upgrade. But yes, we will see you guys on July 5th, and you guys have a safe rest of the Pride Month and 4th of July.